All right, PUBG fans, I got a great video for you guys today. PUBG dropped a bomb on us, or should I say EMP, with a bunch of information on what's coming into the game, new features, new abilities over the next 2 months, and what they're calling the Rondo roadmap. And if you've been living under a rock, Rondo is PUBG's 10th map in the game, and it's brought a bunch of new features, weapons, vehicles, and just dynamic into the game. It's probably one of the most refreshing battle royale experiences I've had in the past couple years in really any game that I've tried. So if you guys haven't played it yet, I would definitely recommend giving it a try. And in this video, we're going to go through all that stuff, what it means. And of course, these features are being advertised on Rondo, but I do believe that some of these features will be available on all of the maps, which we're going to get into right now. So I don't want to spend too much time introing. Let's just get right into it and talk about the updates. So we've had the December update. Rondo is available on console and PC, so you guys can play. And then next month, PUBG does updates every single month, so we can expect this in either the first or second week of January, is update 27.2, and that's bringing in all of these features: a market system, the garage and Pillar UAZ, emergency cover, battle ready kit, EMP zone, and special drops, which are kind of always here. It's a little bit of a filler, but they're always doing special drops, right? So let's go back to the top. The market system, this was shown in a couple trailers and teasers. This seems to be PUBG's first ever in-game currency system coming to the game. We're not 1,000% sure about this, but almost 100%, 95, 90%, 98, whatever you want to say, because they teased a currency. They teased a coin that had a BR on it, like Battle Royale coin. Who knows if it's going to change? And what I think this is going to be is, somehow you get this currency, whether it's taking out pillar guards, doing missions, or contracts. There was rumors that contracts might be coming into PUBG, like Call of Duty. You earn these coins and then can go to these gear boxes, the pillar gear, the market system, and buy stuff from here. So we can kind of see in this blurry image that there's smokes here. In game, you can already see some of these on Rondo, and there's flares available, all these other things, guns, crate weapons. So this is going to be a really new, interesting system potentially coming into the game. And I feel like, again, just to add a little bit of my personal opinion here, that contracts, while when they're overly done, I feel like kind of ruin the spirit of Battle Royale on a small level, done in like a minor way. I feel like give you a great mini game within the game to give you something to do. That excites players. So I think overall this is great, especially because it's just on this map for right now. So we're going to move on from that. That's coming into the game. Then we have a garage and Pillar UAZ. So if you're an OG player of PUBG, you remember that there once was an armored UAZ in the game that you could call in. And this is returning as the Pillar UAZ, and there's a garage here. So, not exactly sure how this is going to operate. My theory is that these garages are going to be locked, and then if you get enough coin, you're going to be able to open them, and then the UAZ will be in there, and maybe some other guns, or who knows. It's very blurry, but almost looks like one of these market boxes is outside of the garage. So that's my theory, is that this is part of the currency system, and if you get enough money, you can unlock it. Another theory could be these are being guarded by pillar guard. You have to kill them, and then you get the car. But I think it's going to be the first. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But this is really exciting. Just another dynamic in the game to have, which is cool. Then the emergency flare, which is going to be potentially the most game-changing out of all of these updates on 27.2, because we already have vehicles and the ability to get crate weapons, right? So that's a change in gameplay, but not completely unknown or foreign. The deployable cover is completely foreign. So there's a flare stick. Right now in PUBG, you have the flare gun that you shoot up. This is a flare stick that you light. I think you're just going to throw it on the ground, or maybe it just comes right to where you are. And then deployable cover is going to come down right in front of you. We don't know how this is going to happen is it going to happen instantaneously via helicopter or plane? But they did show a video of these deployable cover triangles flying in, and they're pretty large. And it's hard to say if they're going to be just destroying things in the environment. Can they kill people? I think so. In one of the videos, a car blows up in the background. It's hard to say if it was because of the cover or if it was the car was just on fire. But I would assume here, I'm making a presumption that they're going to be able to take out someone or maybe even blow up a car if they land on it. So there could be kind of two uses for this. And then, but the cover coming in is going to be super helpful because, when you're out in the open, all you have is smokes, but even then you can shoot through the smokes, and sometimes you're running out of smokes. And really, if you've played Rondo, there's a lot of open areas. They've done a great job designing the map where you can kind of have little nooks and crannies and ridges and dips to hide in. But this is going to come in huge, but it's definitely going to change PUBG Rondo drastically. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But just know that these kind of cover things almost look like, if you ever played paintball, like paintball, the blow up things that you play that you use for cover are coming into the game. Very interesting. And then here's one I can't wait for you guys to comment on. This is the Battle Ready kit. They showed this in the trailer, someone using this, but what is it? Because the first aid we already have brings you to 75% health. The med kit brings you to full health. You know, you have boosters, painkillers. The syringe brings you to full boost. So the first guess that most people make is full health, full boost, but I feel like that's too obvious. So does anybody have any other theories on what this might be? I'm not sure. For me, I couldn't really think of anything other than that. I mean, they're telling you you're getting battle ready. How else can you be battle ready other than to be full health and full boost? But that would be pretty OP, right? And we will see. We'll see if that's coming into the game. A little unoriginal because I feel like anybody could have thought of that, but you know, we'll see how that affects the game or what that launches as. Usually PUBG has like one trick up their sleeve or something that people don't guess. So we'll see which one it is. Then we have the EMP zone, which I have two major guesses on what this is going to be. So an EMP takes out all of the electricity in the area. So this is either A, going to block the blue zone. So you shoot up a EMP zone, and if you're in that zone, you don't get affected by blue damage. That could be it. But what I believe it's going to be is my next thought is that if you shoot up this EMP zone, all things that work on electricity won't work in this area. So maybe a jammer pack, maybe the new electric vehicle, which is coming on the other side, and other things. I'm trying to think if there's any other electrified items in PUBG. But that's maybe my guess. Maybe you won't be able to use your map in that area or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's going to be one or the other. Either block the zone or block out the features of the game in that area. One or the other. Let me know what you guys think. And then special drops we can skip. So here we go. In February, again, first or second week of February, we expect to see this update. We are seeing an electric car called the Pico Bus, and this is PUBG's first ever electric vehicle coming into the game. PUBG has electric vehicles in the mobile version of the game. I know it's in New State. I don't know if it's in regular PUBG Mobile, but I think it is. So these are coming into the game. It's kind of Rondo's version of the Volkswagen bus, which is cool. And then they're also bringing in EV charging stations. So I was thinking about this. I don't know how mobile handles these EV cars, if they have EV charging. And it's kind of cumbersome to put in EV charging if there's only one electric vehicle. So I wonder if we'll see another electric vehicle coming, or just they had to do one and they had to do the charging if they're going to put in the vehicle. To me, you know, this looks really cool, but it's actually at the end of the day, not that big of a thing. This is one of those things that once it gets into the game, you're like, it doesn't really change anything. It's just another vehicle, and vehicles don't really change the game. But it's a new feature and it's exciting, but I don't want to be bearer of bad news, but I feel like we should cut the hype on this a little bit. It's just a vehicle. Exciting, cool. I love new stuff. But again, not going to be game changing unless there's some crazy feature that we're not predicting right now. If it auto drives for you, that would be one thing maybe, but I don't think that's coming into the game. That would be pretty cumbersome. But nonetheless, very cool new stuff coming into the game. And then two things that came out of nowhere and kind of are related are this co-op climb and the vehicle parkour. And we're talking about this on Twitter because I said this is coming to the game, and people are like, are you sure it's not just Rondo? And I'm like, well, I don't think they would put in a feature like this just for Rondo, right? Because it's a core gameplay feature. It's not like a flare or vehicle. And shout out to my buddy Bob. He pointed out that this looks like to be on Erangel anyways. This looks like the crates area with Mount Everest in the back. Could be somewhere else, but it does look like this is on Erangel. And again, I'm just going to reiterate, I stand kind of by my assumption here that this is going to be a feature on all of the maps. And the reason why I think that's important is because this is going to drastically change how the game is played on the older maps. So what we're seeing here is co-op climb and then vehicle parkour, which you guys could read. So co-op climb, it means you're going to be able to help people climb up to certain areas. And who knows if that means you can push people up. I'm guessing it's just going to be helping people climb up, not push up. And the reason why that makes a difference is someone has to already be at that higher location for you to get up there to begin with. But where I see this being helpful is a lot of newer players or less sophisticated players don't really utilize getting on top of buildings and stuff like that. Like for me, I love getting on top of a building. So I'll spend like 10 minutes trying to get on top of a building that's, hard to get on top of. And then I could quickly get my team up there, or maybe a player that doesn't want to spend the time to do that. And we could be in a spot that's very advantageous. Usually being on the roof is a pretty OP spot visually. Sometimes you can't be shot depending on the roof style. So this is going to be really strong for that. But then if there is some kind of way to get to a further distance, then this is going to allow players to get to places that they normally couldn't get to, which will change the game drastically because sometimes these spots can be very overpowered. So we'll see. And then this goes hand in hand with vehicle parkour. Right now, you can't climb a vehicle. You'd have to position it in a way where you can jump on top. Normally, I park the car next to some stairs. I get on the stairs, I hop on the hood, then I hop on the top of the car, and then I go to a roof, right? That's kind of a sophisticated way of getting on top of a building. So now if you can just easily climb on top of a vehicle, you're going to be able to much easier get on top of roofs in different buildings. So again, if this is going to be available on all maps, OG maps, which weren't like designed like Rondo was, then this is going to change the game. I don't want to say drastically, but I would say significantly on those maps and just make it a little bit more dangerous in certain areas. For example, before climbing was in the game, it was pretty rare to see people on top of a roof. And now people can be, it's pretty, common that people are on a roof, and that changes kind of how you approach compounds. It's another area you have to look for. You're like, okay, I see 3 windows. I have to watch left, right, and now the roof. And in TPP, being on a roof is really, really hard to counter when you're pushing a compound, because they can peek the roof very, very quickly without really any major consequences, unless, potentially getting shot in the back. But this is a little bit of a deeper position or thought, but a lot of the older maps are designed where the compounds are really strong. So a lot of times being on the roof doesn't really have a big disadvantage. When you're playing on Rondo and the newer maps like Tego, normally the compounds are next to like a hill. So if you're on the roof, if somebody's on the hill, they shoot you really quickly. So a lot of the newer maps are designed to kind of counter compound play. When the older maps, the compounds still rank supreme. So this is kind of like a deeper game theory strategy, but it's something that's true in the game, that the other maps are not as balanced compound wise. So features like this could ultimately make that exacerbate that, make it even more difficult to kind of push those compounds, especially in TPP. So we got a little deep here, but I like doing that, kind of breaking this stuff down. I know it's just a game, but I love game theory and talking about strategy. And obviously new features means new options and new strategy coming into the game. And of course, more fun. So this is a little bit of a roadmap for what's in store for the next 2 months. Very exciting follow-up on Rondo. And one last time, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, please do. And if you're playing PUBG, make sure you're using creator code Blitz5. It helps me out. It's a free way to support myself and what I do on YouTube and streaming. So check out the link below for that. And if you're making any purchases in game, a portion of that helps out the content creators like myself, which is great. Again, free for you guys. And as always, thank you all for watching. I'm Blitz5, and peace out.